Well, hello, Bulldog fans. Welcome and thank you for joining us here on Zoom for Dog Talk. I am Daniel Graham, and we are joined today by our very own men's basketball head coach, Ed Conroy. Ed, I know this is a busy summer for you and your squad, so we appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Oh, no, great to be on. And, I saw the list of some of the people as they were signing up, and really excited to, communicate with all of our Bulldog fans out there. And like I said, I saw a lot of familiar names, former players, former coaches, things like that. So got me excited to be on here and anxious to talk about this year's team.
Cool. So before we get started, we'd like to thank everyone again for registering and joining us live. Also to let you know that your registration has entered you for a chance to win a prize pack courtesy of Citadel Athletics. We will announce the winner later today on our athletics Twitter page at Citadel Sports, and we'll be sending an email to the winner. So please keep an eye out to see if you won. Our prize pack includes some amenities like a license plate, travel mug, things of that nature. So plenty more where that came from. So please keep an eye out later today and see if your chances are good. So Coach, we have a couple questions here that our fans have submitted for you to answer, but to get us started, I think it's best if we offer you the floor and share what you and your staff have worked on over the last 3 months to prepare for the season.
Well, it's been about 90 days, just over 90 days. I got my email from HR the other day of my survey of how my first 90 days went. I was kind of surprised. It's gone fast, but we've been working extremely hard trying to put together the staff, the roster, the schedule, and all the things as far as trying to lay the foundation for the way we'd like to run the program here. But most of all, I wanted to start out just by saying thank you. I'm just really, really grateful and feel extremely blessed to have the opportunity to serve as your all's basketball coach. And, at a place that, I love a great deal, and it means a lot to me for the chance for my family to come back to Charleston and the Citadel. I can't thank everyone enough, and just hope that we can make you proud in the coming years.
So, of course, everyone knows this is your third go here at the Citadel and second as the head coach. Since you were last with us, you've made a number of high-profile stops at the high major level. And, of course, college athletics since that time has changed drastically with the transfer portal, NILs, and so forth. What have you learned from those experiences, and how do you approach coaching in regards to this modern era of college basketball coming back to the Citadel?
Well, I think every year, you grow as a coach if you're really working at it, because you have a new group of young men that you're trying to figure out, put together, find that chemistry, find out what their strengths and weaknesses are. And so every year you grow as a coach. No question, college basketball and the entire landscape of college athletics is changing at a rapid pace. I thought that my experiences at Tulane in both Conference USA and the American, you're in the American, you're going against the likes of Tim Floyd and Larry Brown and the defending national champs in UConn. It was, just some great experiences trying to figure out how to get that roster where we could win. And then at Minnesota in the Big Ten, a league I grew up watching and always kind of dreamed of coaching in, but being next to Richard Pitino and part of the Pitino family. And then this past year in the SEC, for the second time with Jerry Stackhouse, a guy that I've known a long, long time, going all the way back. You talk about relationships in athletics, and that was a relationship that started on the recruiting trail when I was a young assistant coach at NC State. So, and Jerry obviously meant a lot to us last time we were here at the Citadel, coming in every summer and working out with our guys. So that was just a thrill. But I feel like I've had kind of a front row seat in two of the best leagues in America, the Big Ten, the SEC, the last few years as the game has changed a lot. I think one of the guys that's helped really change that game was the guy that we were in the league with, Steph Curry. Just his ability, you saw it here in the finals, his ability to shoot the basketball, stretch the floor, and how that has kind of taken over the game. We all were right here when that was going on. I thought our teams back then were kind of cutting edge a little bit as far as analytics and things like that. We certainly didn't invent it, going back to the days of Coach Robinson here with the value in the 3-point shot. And then a great coach that I played for in college, Randy Nesbitt here, and his value on the 3-point shot and the things that we were doing. We always felt like we were a little bit ahead of the curve in that, but the whole game has changed now where the 3-point shot is just such a big part of it.
Sure. And on that note, mentioning the SoCon, the SoCon has emerged as a highly competitive conference. What is it going to take for the Citadel to once and for all hang that conference banner in McAllister Fieldhouse?
Well, the Southern Conference is a great league, but and with all and I know what it is right now. It has been and this is really remarkable and a great testament to everybody who's coached and played in the league the last several years. But I think it's 5 straight years out of 32 leagues in the country, 32 or 33 leagues, it's been between 10 and 15 in the net, which is really remarkable. I mean, tremendous. And, so it is obviously been competing at a high level. But when people say, the Southern Conference is really good right now, I think back to, hey, last time we were here, we looked across the street, we had Andrew Godlock, Kyle Charleston, you had Donald Sims at Appalachian State, Georgia Southern was in the league, Kyle Hines was at Greensboro, and then there was a guy named Steph Curry at Davidson, like I already alluded to. We won 15 conference games my 3rd year here, and we couldn't win the league because of Steph. So the league was pretty good back then. And then I think back to when I was playing, and you had Marshall with Skip Henderson and guys like that, and Gay Elmore at VMI, and just on and on and on. I thought the league was really good. And then when I was being recruited and watching, Regent Truesdale guys, and before that, you just know that forever and ever, this league has been really good, because you go even further back and you've got the Jerry West and people like that playing in this league. So the Southern Conference has been a great league a long, long time. We know we have our work cut out for us, no question. And then you add in the NIL, you add in portal, you add in what we stand for at the Citadel, and we'll never apologize for that or back away from it. We know it's going to take a team effort. And it's one of the things I said in my press conference. Like, I came back because I love the place and I love coaching here. I love developing players here, but it is going to take the power of our whole team. And I mean, fans, alums, former players, current students, players, administration, everybody is going to have to really dig down if we're going to get this thing to where we all want it to go, and we're all going to have to work as one.
Sure. So we'll delve into right now some of the fan questions that our fans submitted while registering for this event. The first one is about your staff. As you just said, a lot of people have been following that remember you from your previous years at the Citadel. So now, who have you hired alongside of you up to this point in terms of staffing?
Well, when you first mentioned staff at the Citadel, and I was very blessed last time I was here. We had a terrific staff, and those guys are it's amazing right now. But you look at Doug Novak, associate head coach at Army. You look at Andy Fox, associate head coach at Vanderbilt. You look at Ronnie Hamilton, associate head coach at LSU. And there was many others. On the staff time. But those last 3 were assistants. On our last team, and I was really blessed to be around those talented guys. I think we have not finalized our staff yet, but we are putting together another really, really good staff. I feel like John Reynolds was my first hire, and he was on that team, graduated in 11, Citadel grad. I think he will just be fabulous on the floor with our players. He already has done a great job bringing the energy every day. Anybody who knows JR knows he's got an edge about him, and that's what I'm trying to get us back to is just having an edge about how we compete, not just on game day, but every day. And JR brings that. A couple other guys, Patrick Reiling. Patrick's been with me at. He deserves a medal. He has worked for some of the best coaches in basketball. He worked for both Patinos, Richard and Rick. So he knows what work ethic's all about. And I just tremendous respect for the Patinos and how they approach their work every day. And Patrick was right there for several years with both of them, and then went with me last year to Vanderbilt. Coach Stackhouse was good enough to let me bring him with me, and he's been we've been working hand in hand for the last several years. He will do another terrific job, and I think it'll be a great addition to the Citadel. And then Chris Hill. Chris is a guy that again we've all in coaching, we're all tied really tightly, but played for my brother at one time, and went to back-to-back tournaments at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. So he brings another guy who brings a Power 5. He's been at Tennessee as well. He brings a Power 5 experience, but also winning experience, and been around NCAA tournament teams where we want to go. And so, thrilled that those 3 guys that I mentioned are with us. We're still looking to add a couple pieces, but really believe it's, the chemistry of a team. They take their lead from the chemistry on your staff. And so really trying to be deliberate in how we put each piece together, because that team right there will, like I said, that'll lead to the chemistry on the court for us.
Sure. So our next question comes to us from Chip C. His question is to you. What are our new additions to the roster?
Well, we have several. I know Chip, probably the first one he wants to hear about being from Myrtle Beach is Michael Green. And Michael's joining us from South Carolina. Michael's going to be a great addition to our backcourt. But we have several guys. We've tried really with our freshman class to add some size. Each of those guys, I think, brings a body and a skill set. There's 6 freshmen that I was just over in the weight room with them. We're allowed to work out at this time of year. So those 6 guys, I think they all, have a chance to contribute for us. And like I said, they bring a different element, if you will, as far as size and body. A couple of them in particular, not to single anybody out because it's way too early. I even hesitate to even mention certain names but just the body size of, Madison Durr, Tony Carpio, AJ Smith. These are guys that are all over 210 pounds. And Madison and AJ will be in the backcourt. And so we're just trying to get a little bit bigger, a little more physical as we go. But certainly all 6 of those guys, I think, can really help and contribute for us. Colby McAllister is another one. He's not over, I don't think he's over 210 yet, but he's got the frame to put that on. And he can really shoot the basketball. We have a couple other guys that'll be joining our roster. They have not joined us yet. And I can't comment about them. They have to finish up some school. They'll be grad transfers. But other than that, we have 16 guys down there working hard every day at practice right now. I wish practices were open to the public. I wish we could publicize them. I'd love for everybody to come on out, but we'll have to wait till September for people to come out and see them, just because the NCAA rules don't allow us to allow fans in at this point.
Yep. A little bit of education goes a long way. So thank you for your candidness there. Talking about your roster and players, our next question comes from Emily G, and her question is to you. What do you value most in your players?
We really pride ourselves and that's why it's so important. Like when I hire staff, I want guys who are first and foremost great teachers, before anything else. I don't necessarily want to know, from the recruiting side and this and that. I feel like some of those things will take care of themselves if we're great teachers and we really provide value for our players. Therefore, in our players, what I really want is just those guys that have kind of that growth mindset. And everybody says, "Oh, I want to get better. I want to improve as a player. I love the game." But it takes a certain toughness to come in mentally and physically, to come in every day, to get honest feedback, to take that, go work on the skills, do the repetition, the monotonous, work that's done behind the scenes. Some days you don't feel great. Some days you have to show that physical toughness. Some days, like I said, it's mental toughness. But just that growth mindset, that's probably the thing I valued most. And if you are truly that way, then you have to be a little bit like me. You have to believe. You have to believe there's a reason for your work. And if there's a day coming where we're going to let everybody know that, the Citadel can be a consistent participant in the NCAA tournament. And I believe that in the bottom of my heart. And I want guys that have that kind of growth mindset to come in every day and work toward it. And in order to do that, you have to have a little bit of that optimism.
Sure. So our next question comes from Ben L. His question to you is, what type of schedule do you hope to build?
Well, I'm going to guess that's another great foreign player, Ben Ledbetter. And Coach, I had tremendous respect for him. I was fortunate to learn under him. I'm trying really hard, to be honest with you. Last time I took great pride in I thought with Coach Robinson's help and everybody's help, we were able to bring some great marquee Power 5 teams into McAllister Fieldhouse. We had Clemson, we had South Carolina, we had Iowa, we had West Virginia scheduled, we had Michigan State come in, USC, OJ Mayo's first game. So I've called a bunch of teams around the country trying to entice those, and I'm wearing them down. I haven't been able to get any yet, but I'm wearing them down. I'd like to bring some of those opponents into McAllister. We're certainly not afraid to go play anybody and be a part of any creative deal we can. I did the same thing at Tulane. We had North Carolina at home at Tulane. We played a game up in New York every year, either at Madison Square or the Barclays Center when I was at Tulane. So that's something I believe in, is creating experiences for our guys through the schedule. I will tell you, they've asked me not to release the schedule yet. It's not quite done. I'm still trying to hold out to get some more of those neat contests. But I will say this. I think the fans are going to like the schedule. They're going to like the competitiveness of it. They're going to like the fact that there's some teams really, really close by that they haven't seen in a while that we're going to get a shot at this year. So and hopefully at home. So no, I think the fans will love the schedule. I want to continue to upgrade that schedule. I don't, be honest with you, I don't want to put any lid on next year's team. I don't know what we'll be ready for as far as the schedule. I'm just getting to learn those guys, but I'm certainly going to test them and challenge them and stretch them.
I love the two-pronged effect this interview has. I'm giving you aliases of these people asking questions, and you're able to spot them right on the money about who's asking them. So
these are my people. This is why I came home. I know. This is why I'm excited to be here. Like I said, I just feel really blessed to be able to serve, all of you as your coach. And I know if we all work together, we can do some great things. But like I said, it's gonna take all of us.
So speaking of the season, we just want to remind our fans again that season tickets are currently available, and they're the same price as last year, starting at $100. So you can head on over to citadelsports.com and look to book your front row seat to the upcoming season with Coach Ed Conroy and Citadel basketball. So our next question comes from Chris H. And his question to you is, what do you see as the biggest changes necessary to improve the team's win-loss record?
I guess what I would speak to is just how we want to play. I don't spend a lot of time going back and watching film from last year or even our individual things on our players from last year. I watch every day of practice over and over again. I try to trust my own eyes and our staff's eyes on what we're seeing and how these guys are growing. And I really talk to them more about not really comparing to last year. But I will tell you, what I've been really on them about is playing fast, and that might those words might seem maybe a little bit strange to me, but when I say play fast, I'm talking about quick thinking, quick decision making, having the skills that allow you to, when you draw two, you share that ball and you share it quickly and on time. So the quickness of decision making on both ends of the floor. You have to be a quick decision maker on the defensive end as well. And I've been on our guys about cutting harder, sprinting into their help side positions faster, getting back on defense, first three steps faster, going to make contact on a box out faster, like playing faster, playing quicker, thinking quicker. And that comes from just the repetition of the drill work we're doing in practice. And if we do that, if we become better decision makers and quicker in our play, in our mindset that way, then we'll play more efficiently. And that's really what I want. I want efficiency on both ends of the floor. We will be, if we're going to play the schedule we're talking about, there might be some nights we're overmatched athletically or talent wise, but if we are in control of that tempo lever and we can play fast or slow, whatever we need to do, but we're always playing efficient. I think back to, some guys like a Zach Urbanus. I mean, for 4 years, he was as efficient a player as there could be. He would knock down the open shot. He had a great assist to turnover. He made good decisions. He communicated well on defense. Just guys like that. We're going to try to be efficient on both ends of the floor. Hopefully this year that'll lead us to a lot of close games, and then that Citadel toughness and competitiveness can take over and we can get the W.
So our next fan question is somewhat similar to our previous one. This one comes from David A. His question is, what will the style of play look like on the offensive and defensive end? And as a fan, what scores would indicate the team is successfully playing that style? Such as game scores in the 70s, 80s, higher, lower. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I would answer. I kind of answered that one, I guess ahead of the question a little bit as far as the efficiency. I'm not concerned about a number because I think there's certain games that you have to make the plays that the game of basketball tells you to make. We will be always on the attack. We say it every time we huddle up. Together we attack. My former players like Holston and Streeter and those guys around us are probably laughing right now, but we are always on the attack. And we'll take it. We'll take it really quick if you give it to us. But we want to be efficient on both ends. I remember our last. I think you knew I was going to mention this, but I think we beat the College 3 out of our last 4 that we played them. And if I remember correctly, the scores were usually like 72-55. I don't go into the game writing down that's going to be the score. But I can tell you this, if you looked at the efficiency numbers on both the offensive and defensive end after that game, they would both be winning numbers. And that's what I care about. I care about smart, decision-making, playing aggressive, but playing with an intelligence on both ends and a competitiveness on both ends, that we don't concede a single basket. and we don't give away a single possession. You know, I want to see us take care of the basketball, get high percentage shots, and go down there and make sure you don't get them.
Sure. Okay, so our next question comes to us from Brian K. And his question to you is, begins with a little introduction here, but it says, welcome home, Coach. At your introductory press conference, you mentioned two things that struck me. You said that we will be every bit as elite as the institution we represent, and that you intend to get us off that list of 4 of the original NCAA schools that have never played in the NCAA tournament. I love that. What is your strategy for accomplishing those 2 lofty goals?
Well, I'm gonna guess Brian K might be another former player, Brian Cannon. Well, or Brian Kinzig. Brian Kinzig is another. There's a couple Brian K former players out there. But you know, I think this is an incredibly tough time to be, you know, coaching, you know, at any school. And you come to, you know, Citadel basketball, no question stuff, but we've already alluded to that. But it's not the time to shy away from, you know, lofty goals or standards. And I think we have to raise that standard. I think the school, I saw again today where they were, Money Magazine had them in an incredibly high ranking as a school in the country. And U.S. News and World Report, I think it's 11 straight years, you know, #1 public college in the South. You know, I want our basketball program to be every bit as elite as that. I don't see any reason why we can't be if we all pull and work together and make it a priority. I know what kind of young men we can attract here. I was a part of it as both a coach and a player, and I know what kind of guys are in that locker room. We can do this. We can definitely do this. And my plan, you know, to get us to be one of those, not on that list anymore, of those 4 teams. And Coach Les Robinson, you know, who loves his stories and his trivia questions, he's always reminded me about that. But I don't want us on that list anymore. And the way to do it is recruiting. I've always prided myself on, you know, as a head coach, I'm going to recruit like an assistant coach. I love the class we just brought in. I think these guys will do great things. I think the guys that were already here, you know, the Clarks, the Fitzgibbons, the Spence, all those guys, I think they're going to raise their level. So, you know, I'm optimistic about what we can do, but it comes down to the people. It always is people. And so it starts in recruiting and spending the time there, developing those relationships. You know, one thing that everybody always asks me, what was special about that team in 2010 and in that era. And the first thing that always comes to my mind is their parents. Their parents were amazing. I mean, when you start talking about the Wells and the Dons and the Urbanises and the Streeters and the Holstons, you just go right on down the line. I could name them all. And I remember my official visits and meeting them in their homes. Now we'll find another group of 13 parents like that believe like us, and we'll cherish the young men that come with us and develop them and get us off that list.
Great. We have a few more questions for you, Coach, but once again, we just wanted to reiterate about the season tickets. To clarify what we said earlier, season tickets are going to be available soon. So right now you can go on citadelsports.com and look to reserve your season tickets once they become available for this upcoming year. So plenty of games to still be to dot our I's and cross our T's with. So just keep an eye out for that, but you're going to have some fun time watching Ed Conroy and Citadel basketball this season. So our next question comes from Paul T, and his question is pretty straightforward, Ed. What will you do differently than your last tenure?
What will I do differently than my last tenure? And Paul wasn't a former player, but I got a feeling Paul T is has been a tremendous supporter of Citadel basketball. Class of '89, sitting courtside is my guess at Paul T right there, and really appreciate his friendship and him being involved in Citadel basketball. What will I do differently? Again, I go back to those players. It's all about them, and if we're going to be great at developing players, we got to really know who they are and make those individualized decisions for them. So first and foremost, every day when I sit and the staff sits and thought about those guys and what they need to develop, I'm sure it's not going to be the same. We have different players, and so they have different needs, and so that's going to be different. I do think that you know there are some different challenges. You know, like I said, I'm going to try to get the schedule upgraded. I don't think it's going to be even tougher to get some of those teams to come in. But we're certainly going to still try to stretch ourselves on the schedule. I think the game has changed. As I told you about being efficient, but I still think it's a more spread out, faster paced game than it was 10, 12 years ago. And the three, a lot of people, we shot it then. My guys held all the records last time, but those records have been broken, most of them. But so the game is a little bit different, and we'll play that way, accordingly. But for the most part, it still comes down to fundamentals and getting really, really good at them. And that's why I say, like, when I say playing fast, like, I hope our skill work can show up, and hopefully it'll show up day one. But if not, you'll see it improve throughout the year.
Great. So we have another question here, and it's a little bit off topic, but I think you'll enjoy this one. This one comes from John K, and his question is, Ed, hope you and the family are doing well. Have you been able to do any fishing since you've been back to the low country? Take care and hope to see you soon.
If that's John K, I'm thinking about, I need to be sitting out on his dock. He's a terrific person there, and I appreciate all his support, and his buddy Luke K, all their support since I've been back. But no, I have not been able to do any fishing. We've been just working, trying to do the things we need to do to get the program ready to go.
So another question came to us from EM, and his question was, are there plans to encourage increased student and cadet attendance at games? Obviously, with your previous run, we had sellout stadiums, and we had cadet athletes always coming out in droves.
Yeah, the maniacs were there for us. So here's it. If you can boil, like you say, well, Ed, what have you been working on for the last 90 days? Well, to me, it's really in two big categories. First of all, and they're both environments. First of all, the daily environment for our guys, in what we are doing and how we are, everything from nutrition to sleep to weightlifting to conditioning to skill work, everything we're doing on a daily basis. And along those lines, I don't think people really understand, like, one of the changes, everybody talks about the NIL and the portal. One of the big changes in college basketball over the last several years has been access. When I was playing, and for years after that, October 15th was always the start date of basketball. And you would come in the summer, you would go work camps, you would find your own pickup games, you'd be away from your coach. And then you'd come back and you'd have about a month and a half of school where you basically were playing pickup and doing things on your own again. And then as soon as that season ended in March, back to yourself. So only about 5 or 6 months of the year were you with your coaches. Now with the access, and this is why I say, like, our daily environment, it's really important. The pressure on McAllister Fieldhouse and our locker room and what that needs to be, it's no longer just a recruiting thing for how nice does it look so you can get a recruit. It's all about functionality, because we need to be in there every day. I can coach my guys 46 out of 52 weeks of the year. All right, if we set it out that way, and with a day off each week, but we can be 46 out of 52 weeks. There's a time in the fall from October on, we're together 28 straight weekends. We miss Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, spring break. So our guys, it is a year-round sport with their head coach and their staff, as far as being able to work out. So our daily environment and upgrading that and investing in that is really, really key. And then the second part, which is what you asked about, that game day environment. We have to upgrade that game day environment. Administration, we've had a lot of great talks and productive talks. People are working very hard. I think the fans are going to see some exciting things. Got to get the Maniacs back in there. It's a huge part of how we were able to be successful last time, and we're going to do everything we can to invest in that and change that game day environment.
So we have a couple minutes of time here, Ed. So I was just thinking back to your press conference about 3 months ago. Of course, it was very well attended. So many people that you were happy to see, and so happy to see you back. Was there anybody there that's surprised you maybe about when you saw them and saw that they were there?
There was several things that were really neat about it. There was, and I'll be careful from a recruiting standpoint, but one local AAU program, the entire program came, and I thought that was really, I was like, wow, because I hadn't seen them. I hadn't been able to recruit any of their guys in the last 12 years, and thought that was really special. Another thing that was really neat for me personally was just to see my family back in McAllister Fieldhouse, and see my mom and dad sitting there. And my mom, I mean, ESPN Plus has absolutely made her into, everyone's coach around the country. Because I have a brother-in-law who's in the NBA. I have a brother who's coaching. I have sons in coaching, nephews who are playing. So she's all over it every night. And just to see them back in McAllister was fun. Some other one. I'm thinking back now, just looking at that crowd, but to see like Colonel Bebensy and guys that met with me on my recruiting visit and helped explain to me what the Citadel was all about. Took time with me, and then I knew them as a student. And then when I came back, I used to jokingly refer to them as my A team, but I talk about the importance of recruiting. But I had a team on this campus last time I was here that was just second to none, and met with people every chance they could, and it was all the way down from General Rosa to Colonel Stone, the Commandant, to Colonel Bebensy, like you name it. I know I'm missing people, but they were just they were there for me every weekend. We were bringing guys in. I think you've seen the activity around here as far as how many guys we brought to campus already, but we don't take a day off from the recruiting piece. And I'm thankful I have a golf cart this time. Last time it was a little hard walking around in the midsummer all the time with all those families. But no, I just, the press conference was a lot of fun, and it was gratifying to see all those people there.
Okay. Well, we have a few more talking points here, but I just wanted to pause for a moment and remind our fans watching us right now, remember to follow us on social media at Citadel Sports. You can follow us on our website at citadelsports.com. There you'll have access to almost anything you would want to know about Ed Conroy and the men's basketball program, as well as our other high caliber athletic programs. There's our Bulldog Bulletin that you can subscribe to and get newsletters and the latest and greatest going on in Citadel athletics. So please be sure to follow that. I was just thinking back in your previous response, Coach, talking about ESPN Plus. Again, one of the silver linings from I guess the pandemic was being able to broadcast and being that more accessible to people, and also maybe people coming around to it and embracing the technology. Do you think that's a huge game changer? I mean, it has to be, but what do you think that means for the Citadel and the SoCon and the grand scheme of things?
Well, I think it's just a great opportunity. And again, I think what you want to see is, even though you can sit at home, watch those games, and it brings everybody around the world in where they can view your games and flip, but people are flipping through multiple games a night. And I think what they want to see is, they turn it on for a minute and they see maybe a great commercial about the institution of the Citadel and are impressed, and they continue to watch the game for a couple minutes. And if that game day atmosphere looks like we're alive and the place is really thriving, then what an impression we can make all over the world. So I think it's a terrific opportunity. And that's why I want so badly to bring, a basketball team, like I said, that represents our elite university the way it should. And that's the challenge. But that's the goal. That's why we want to play a tough schedule as well, and give people a reason to come out to those games.
Looking internally within the SoCon, there's obviously still a lot of those long harbored rivalries, but now you think about, VMI is back in the conference. Maybe these schools that weren't in the conference yet when you were first coaching here, you finally get a crack at them within the conference. What are some things you're looking forward to the gamesmanship and the competitiveness of those teams now?
Well, there's a couple of things I think are really neat about the league, and one of them is, to me, college basketball, it's meant to play people multiple times a year in your league, and so all the leagues around the country are getting so big that you see each other maybe just once. Sometimes and you don't get a home and home in every year. And I think conference opponents, that's what makes it neat, because if they get you at their place, you get to get them back at your place, and vice versa. And so I think that's how rivalries build over time, because of the familiarity, and you play each other twice. And so we play a complete round robin schedule. It's as fair as it can get. I love that fact of it. The other part, and I really miss this, the American was great, and Conference USA was great, but Conference USA especially was so spread out, and we didn't play everybody twice. And, we had games really, you were going all the way across the country to play a game. It was harder to develop those rivalries. I love the fact that a lot of our games, we can get on a bus and we're there in a few hours. Our fans can go, we can either place. I think back to, my best moments of the Furman rivalry. Last time I was here, I've joked about this several times, but it's T. Hooper, organizing people outside our locker room before we went out there to play them, because our fans can get to both places. We have Citadel people in Greenville, and they can even make the drive up. So I love the proximity of the schools in the league, and I love the fact that we played each other twice.
Thinking back to your 2008-9 team, the 20-win season, of course, and the win streak in the second half of the season, was there any point maybe early on in the campaign where maybe there was a pivotal moment where you thought that was the turning point? Maybe something adverse that your guys overcame that made you think that something was about to be, some special run was going to come?
You'll think I'm crazy, but the turning point was the season before, and I think we won one league game, but we were winning before we won, in my mind, and that goes back to kind of style of play and things like that. Like, you could see the skill level coming, you could see it improving. You can see those guys playing, making faster and quicker decisions with the ball. You can see them playing together better. You can see them making quicker and faster decisions on the defensive end. They were really starting to move as one. And even though we didn't quite have enough firepower to get over and win some of those games, man, it was a good effort. And if you watch that game, you could see that those guys were coming. And I just felt like the next year it was just a matter of time. I really felt that way.
When you were first announced that you were coming back as the head coach at the Citadel, so many student athletes from your previous stops, including Minnesota and so forth, really went to bat and really said, this is a great acquisition by the Citadel to bring Coach Conroy back, from when I was playing under him, this, that, and so forth. What does that say to you about maybe your relationship with your players over the years? And, maybe that's a big part of your personality that you like to have and something that you really enjoy going to work to do.
Well, it's humbling. It's why I feel blessed to be a coach. And it's why I love the player development side of it, because I love to get in the gym and sweat with those guys and really try to give everything you have, whatever knowledge you picked up along the way. But it's no different. It's no different. Sorry about that. It's no different than how people pour themselves into me. I think I might have seen his name on the call scrolling down, but Coach Nesbitt, what a phenomenal teacher of the game, and it was his entire career. But people don't know the career that he had. They know, they're familiar with him at the Citadel, what a great player he was, and if you will, maybe a little bit self-made, and then just a great teacher as a coach, and then he goes to Rome State and is one of the best teachers in the game anywhere, and innovative, creative, thinking all the time how to relate to players and get the most out of them. So I was blessed growing up with several coaches like that. I've always just wanted to kind of pass that on, and I hope our guys then pass that on to them. I think the relationships are the best part about it, and there's no better way to get a relationship than working out there on the court, with a player to try to help him achieve some of his goals.
So thinking about our media, we have a very loyal media that follows the Citadel basketball program as well as the other programs here at the Citadel. Is there anything that maybe you want to address directly to them and sharing about, your excitement for the season and what they can look forward to when they come to cover a Citadel basketball game?
Let's have some fun. It was fun. It was fun last time, and I don't like to keep saying that or comparing things to before, but I say that because college basketball is meant to be fun, and it's best enjoyed with a lot of people in the building together. Everybody show up to McAllister. Let's get behind the guys that we do have, and let's just have a lot of fun.
So again, one of the perks of being a college coach is you have all these other athletic programs that you could take in and help support and be part of. So to so many of those at the Citadel, is there any sports that stand out to you that you have good memories of and hoping to have this go around as well?
Well, it's one of the joys about coaching here, and I'm excited because I really wanted to live on campus. I'm going to get that opportunity again. I told Brent the other day his red zone coordinator is moving in 2 doors down, so I'm ready to help. I'll tell Tony I'm going to be coaching third base. But before, Kevin Higgins and I we had a great relationship, and he was a great friend, and then I've always loved Citadel baseball. I've always loved going out there and just I used to kid with my guys before that I'll know when they're ready to win, when they're Citadel baseball tough, because the baseball guys I knew when I went to school here and shortly after I was here, and then when I came back last time, there was a tough group in there, and I always was able to count on those guys. They were always down there, creating that entrance for the visiting team for me. So I need Citadel baseball back in the house, back patrolling their neighborhood down there by their locker room. I need that to happen.
And so thinking back a few months ago, how would you rate your first pitch when you had the opportunity a few months ago, right after you were?
That was not good. That was not a great performance. I lost focus somehow. I kind of, I don't know if the front knee gave out a little bit. I'm having this knee looked at as soon as this summer's over. So maybe that'll help me. Maybe they'll invite me back one day. I'll get a chance to throw another one, The River Dogs haven't invited me yet, and I'm glad. I'm hoping they wait off till I get this knee taken care of. My plant foot wasn't as strong as it needed to be.
Well, we're going to look forward to that when that time comes. So what are some things you enjoy about Charleston? You've had so many, opportunities here to be part of the area. What are some favorite things you like to do around Charleston? Beaches or excursions or so forth?
Yeah, that's an easy answer for me. It's the people. Like the people here, from the day I took a recruiting visit here years ago, they've always been there for me and always taken care of me. I do love the fact that you can get variety. I've been fortunate. I've lived in some of the greatest cities where there's a school. I love New Orleans. The Twin Cities is great. Nashville's phenomenal. I was in Raleigh. I mean, just all over. But the thing I love about Charleston is you can go downtown and feel like you're in a city. You can go out to Sullivan's Island and feel like you're just at, one of the great beaches. You can go, there's just variety. I try to tell my wife when we moved to New Orleans that the ocean was right nearby. It's not really right near. It's a little bit of a drive. So, but obviously there are some similarities between the two places. But Charleston to me just has just terrific variety, and again the best people.
So over the course of your playing and coaching career, I'm thinking just a broad scope of around the country. When you've been on the road with your team, for competition or going to these places, has there ever been like a favorite road trip to go on, to go to a certain university?
Well, you're in my wheelhouse now. Oh my God, any guy that's on here that's listened that played for me, they know I love to win on the road now. I love a road trip. And we're going to stop for ice cream when we win. We're going to celebrate on the road as long as we can. But I absolutely do. I think there's nothing more fun than going on the road in college basketball and getting a win. I want to have a packed McAllister Fieldhouse, but you really want to get my competitive juices flowing. We get on that bus to go on the road together. There's nothing like it. You can't find it in anything else. And so I think back to my first coaching stop, and for the first time we went over to Cameron and the Dean Dome, and we were fortunate enough to get wins, and right on through my career. Going on the road has been something really special to me. Our first year in the American, when I was at Tulane, believe it or not, we didn't win a home conference game, but I think we won 6 on the road. Like we were winning road games that we had no business winning, and as we made the adjustment to going up to that higher league, but love competing with a group of guys on the road.
And then flipping that on the home front, do you have a favorite game in McAllister Fieldhouse that sticks out?
I would go back to, there was several of them last time. I thought that a lot of people talk about the Michigan State game, and I thought that was a great scene for our program, and a lot of great pictures from that one, and just the way we competed fearlessly in that game. I think it was 6 different guys made a 3 to start the game. It was just incredible, the courage they were playing with, and the confidence. But you talk about game day environments and guys showing up for me. The core of the night that OJ Mayo came to town was ferocious, and that's what we need back right there. It was OJ Mayo's first game as a college basketball player with Southern Cal. Taj Gibson, those guys, they had a terrifically talented team, and the core was unbelievable that night. But I think back later in the year, those Furman and Wofford games, those were full. And of course, a memory I have of those games that I appreciate everybody for, and you'll never be able to take it away from me, is looking across the court and seeing my cousin Pat back in McAllister and really enjoying himself. He would sit right across from where I was sitting on the bench, and I wish he was still with us. but I have those great memories of him sitting there enjoying it, because we talked for so many hours at night, long nights, about Citadel basketball and things like that. So those were special moments.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, Coach. So as we're on the home stretch of this, do you have any closing thoughts or closing comments that you'd like to share before we sign off?
I got two. One, we're a team. I'm gonna need everybody. I really will. Like we need your support. We need you in McAllister, in the seats, dragging some people in there with you. We need you to join the CBA. We need everything we can possibly do. It's going to take everybody and all the resources we have, and most of all, just a lot of cooperation to get this program where it needs to be. And then just my last thought. I said this at my press conference, but it's a sound that I love and a cheer that I love, and I want to hear it every time I speak in front of a group. I'll start it out, but I want to. They should hear us around the country if we got everybody on this Zoom right here still. So CITADEL, CITADEL. So that should bring a smile to everybody's face, and I cannot wait to see you back in McAllister. And thank you so much for letting me be your head basketball coach.
Sure. All right. Well, Coach, those are all the questions we have for you today. So we want to thank you again for your time and generosity to share your insight on what's upcoming for the 22-23 season for your team. So once again, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. So fans, thank you for joining us for this live presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, registering for this event gives you the chance to win a prize pack courtesy of Citadel Athletics. We showcase a couple of these prizes at the beginning of our presentation, but some of it includes a cup, glass, a little decal for a license plate for your car, travel mug, and also we can't forget from Charleston Coffee Roasters, our own Citadel brew. So a lot of that is special. There's a t-shirt in there, even some nice koozies. So a lot of things kids can also enjoy. So please stick around, follow us on Twitter. We'll be announcing the winner there. And if you're the lucky person selected, you'll receive an email. So keep a tab on your email as well. So from all of us at Citadel Athletics, I'm Dane Graham, and thank you for joining us for our live presentation. Go Dogs.